It's Reagan and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. This reading vlog is a bit of a callback because, friends, we're doing a classic weekend reading vlog. I'm heading out soon for a trip to my parents' house, so I only have 3 days to vlog. Typically I give myself a week recently, so we're just gonna see how much I can pack in reading vibes, house vibes over the course of the next 3 days. So without further ado, let's go ahead and chat about the books I hope to read. Hi friends, before we dive into the very exciting TBR for this video, first a word from this video's sponsor, which is Trade Coffee. Now, we all know how much I love fall. Basically every activity I'm a fan of, from curling up with a fantastic fall read, checking out a new cozy game, going to a pumpkin patch, maybe a hayride. And I would say all of those activities are made even better with a delicious cup of hot coffee, which is why I'm so excited to be partnering up with Trade, because Trade is the #1 coffee destination in the US for hot and cold coffee drinkers, because they've sourced the best beans from over 50 of the best roasteries, which you can conveniently shop for online and have everything sent directly to your door. I love how vast their collection is. I'm personally of the mindset that variety is the spice of life, and Clay and I love testing out new bean varieties. If you're a cold brew lover, they even have a special collection where they teamed up with 15 specific roasters to make various blends designed specifically for cold brew brewing. They also have a really cool collection and curation of various coffee items to help your brew station at home. For me personally, I love a seasonal blend, which is why I'm obsessed with my current coffee I picked out for the month from Atomic Coffee Roasters, which is a roaster I personally really love. But they have a Halloween blend called Witch City, and it's truly delicious and just like perfect for the season, you know? I love that you can get your coffee whole bean or ground depending on your preference. And again, the convenience of having it sent directly to your door is just the best. I, of course, have a very special offer with Trade Coffee. Right now, Trade is offering 50% off a 1-month trial at drinktrade.com/peruseproject. That's drinktrade.com/peruseproject to get 50% off 1 month. drinktrade.com/peruseproject. But thank you again to Trade for partnering up with me for this video. I love coffee so much, but without further ado, let's go ahead and dive back into the TBR.
Unrelated, but Matilda's being very cutesy.
So I have 2 primary books on my TBR, and both of them kind of feel like they're in a similar vibe family. First on the list is finishing Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. If you watched my last vlog, you would know that I started this book. I wasn't able to finish it. I got to page 150, but did declare that I was obsessed. I am loving the first section of this that I have read, and I'm so excited to continue reading it and hopefully finish it pretty quickly. I feel very connected to the story and I find it very hard to put down. It's a god-centered story following our main character Matilda, who is a middling god, and she gets wrapped up with a mortal boy, and then they kind of grow up together and then they meet each other later in life. So romantic, so stunningly written. I'm on the edge of my seat. So this book is pretty long. I only have 3 days to vlog. I just don't have my reading speed like I used to. But I have about 350 pages left of that book, which is quite a bit. But I'm hopeful I can finish it, and then I at least want to start the Essex Serpent. This is a historical fantasy novel following our main character, who after the unexpected passing of her husband seeks refuge in the coastal area of Essex. And there's this like massive serpent and a hot priest that's involved. A recipe for success in my book, you know? So that's the plan. Currently the end of my day, so we're truly settling in for the weekend. And let's just see if I can do it. I'm rooting for myself. I want to have a good reading oriented next couple of days. So that's that. I also need to get my life together. Truly do in fact need to do that. Last vlog was kind of romance centered. This is kind of romancy again, but more like lyrical, vibey, atmospheric, fall-esque reads that have perhaps an emphasis on romance. Regardless though, I'm really pumped about both of these books, so I can't wait. Welcome to the vlog. True grandma fashion, I've decided to have a very early dinner. I'm gonna have an emergency box of mac and cheese, but I've decided to be a little more responsible in atypical fashion and add some protein and a vegetable to the mix of my emergency mac and cheese, which is really what it is, I guess. Zucchini or broccoli? Let's do zucchini. That sounds pretty good. So I'm gonna roast these things as well. One Italian chicken sausage. It's incredibly unappealing. Throw this in the oven. Just like cut up half a zucchini. I'm just gonna roast it. You might be asking yourself, why didn't I just put all this on the same sheet pan? I wish I did. I'm asking myself the same question. We've got our Annie's mac on, and in the oven, we've got some zucchini, and we got my sausage. Yum. Isn't this just the perfect meal? Oof. Let's go watch some Australian Survivor.
She's quite strong. But not on no.
While Aaron is pinning his hopes on a love it or hate it ingredient, Jessica's taken her inspiration.
Obviously, post dinner, we need to have a primo TV watching snack. And this is one of my favorites. I've impulsively started a new K-drama for no other reason but to just start something new. I'm very chaotic and I love the feeling of starting a new show. K-drama's premise is that the main female lead is like a kid's entertainer. She like she works for like a production company and she's like very passionate about like children's entertainment. The main male lead is an ex-mobster who now runs a food company for like reformed criminals, and they somehow come into each other's life, and obviously they have very differing personalities. First episode's cute so far. I don't know why I started a new show, because I'm in the midst of like many shows that I'm really liking. I don't know, but I did, and I don't necessarily regret it. Good morning, everyone. We're off to the races. All right, have my morning cup of coffee. I definitely owe you a reading update, but first I'm gonna caffeinate and do a bit more reading. Then I will update you. Hello, let's do a reading update this morning, but first, look how cute Matilda is. So, Wild Reverence. I've officially gotten to page 250, so I'm about 50% of the way through this book, and let me just say, it's so good. I feel dumb because I didn't realize this is technically set in the same world as Divine Rivals. I already can preemptively guess that people will have questions if you should read this or Divine Rivals first. I really do not see an order that would really matter. It's more of a loose connection because of the whole God thing going on within both books. At least that's my take 50% of the way through this book. But obviously, just in case you haven't watched my previous vlog, let's chat about first what this book is about. So this is a story following our main character Matilda, who is a god, but she is a middling god in the world of the underrealm. There are two realms of the gods, the sky and like below ground. She herself has been raised to be very cautious. Her world has been very isolated and intimate because the world of the gods can be quite dangerous. Gods kill each other to steal each other's powers, and as a middling god, she doesn't have a lot of power to protect herself, but she does have a unique ability of being able to travel between realms because of her godly parentage, which provides her kind of a unique scope and opportunity. As a child, she begins to visit the dreams of another mortal child named Vincent, and they grow really close. They're like each other's first friends, each other's first love, like these types of things. They go on adventures together, they experience perils together. Fast forward, time passes, and they meet again as adults. This book is so good. I feel like it's my favorite Rebecca Ross so far. First, the writing style is stunning, but my favorite aspect, and I am a god lover, she's capturing like the parable and kind of mythos of the gods so well. The writing style really captures the realm of these, you know, mythical places. I feel like they're fickle and dangerous and dynamic and very intriguing. And like all the gods are like hard to anticipate, but they're not human, and they don't feel human. They feel very godly. They still have wants, needs, and desires, and there's, you know, complex elements going inside all of them, but they're not just like humans with the name of a god or like godly powers like sometimes you run into in fantasy stories. Like they feel very distinctly other from the mortal realm, and how they act and the stories that they're involved in, all of those things. This book feels like a ballad. Everything that I'm reading so far feels like a story you would be told after the fact. Like you're in a tavern, sitting by a fire, and someone's telling you the most beautiful, heartbreaking, romantic story between a mortal and a god that you've ever experienced. This has fated love, this has love at first sight, but it works impeccably. It just has this like weight to it that just feels like otherworldly, which it is because it centers gods. That is so believable to me. And the various conflicts and trials that have occurred in this story so far feel both important and significant to like the lives of the god and the mortal that we're following named Vincent, but also just like as a classic setting that would be like recounted time and time again, like Troy and Helen and like all of these things. Like they just feel like the perfect godly setting to make a fantastic mythos and story, and I am just loving it. I'm loving Matilda as our main character. She's so interesting and easy to root for. And we follow her from a child, so I just feel like deeply connected to her. She's exploring how her magic works. She is trying to survive this ruthless world of the gods. She is trying to not let her weakness, which is her heart, like rule her, but also like a lot of her greatest strength stems from the heart. You see her allies, you see her enemies, you see these like magnificent godly moments at play, and then obviously her relationship with Vincent. It's just so romantic. Like it's so romantic, it's so well done, it's so incredibly written, and I'm about halfway through, and I cannot emphasize enough like how much I'm on the edge of my seat reading this. I am sold hook, line, and sinker. Like I'm committed to like whatever direction Rebecca Ross wants to take me in, and I am also scared because this is the kind of story that feels like I don't really know how I'm gonna feel at the end of it, because it's like the whole thing has been wrapped in tragedy the whole time, like the greatest moments of love and the greatest moments of loss, which again matches the parable quality of this whole situation. And I am nervous, but also I cannot put it down. Like this is so good. Like if you love medieval Juliette Marillier, lyrical, stunning writing, like this is it. This is the one for us. It's perfection so far. I'm obsessed with it. Truly obsessed. It's gonna become my entire personality if it holds the line of how good it has been from page one. It's really gonna like creep into a favorite book moment. And I love all of Rebecca Ross's other works, but like to me this feels like a step above anything else so far that she has released in terms of just like total package. It's the total package. Okay? Hello. I like my outfit today. We are not quite at sweater and shorts weather where I live, but I like to pretend. So that's what we're wearing today. I got this sweater last year and I'm a big fan. It's really soft and cozy, but kind of lightweight because it's very holy. And then I threw on a headband. I have just been doing some picking up so I can settle in for a proper Australian Survivor watch-a-thon. Lay is coming back from a work trip and we're meeting up with some friends tonight. We're doing the pasta challenge at Olive Garden because why not? So I'm also like prepping mentally, physically for that. You know, I had to go in prime shape, but I do want to play some games. I'm gonna actually sit down and do a little bit of a reading sprint of Wild Reverence. That's all I've got for now. That's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. I vacuumed. And you don't even want to know how many like times I emptied out my vacuum cleaner. Matilda hair is everywhere, but that's okay. Alrighty, time for a Wild Reverence reading sprint. I am mostly reading this book on my Kindle because the physical copy is so pretty. I don't want to screw it up, but I'm gonna go sit down on my reading chair. And let's read. everyone to know that this book is stressing me out. It's so good, but like so emotionally charged at the same time. Things have happened that are really upping my worry. I'm so deeply rooting for Vincent and Matilda. It's like, what am I even going to do? Oh, it's so stunning. The visual quality of this novel is also so impressive. I feel like the landscapes, both godly and mortal, I really feel like I can see. Like, it just feels like this beautiful painting or this beautiful anime like playing out in my brain that's also stressing me out because I am worried about their overall health and safety. Dang it.
Oh yeah, I love that they do this now because they don't want you gotta get a small one.
I'm still going to have breadsticks.
Thank you so much.
That's so good. That's so good.
How many bowls, Clay? 4? I'm rooting for you.
Lasagna that on there. I didn't do that.
Like, because you'll be fueled for a marathon.
Yeah. What if I just wake up tomorrow and run 10 miles without running enough?
Place by 30.
You want a crispy chicken?
I might not be on meat sauce next one. I think it's funny, but
Apologies, I know that Olive Garden footage a little chaotic. So fun though. I did not perform well as I thought. I thought I was gonna easily be able to eat 3 bowls. I only got to 2. Clay, how many bowls were you able to eat?
Only 3.
Clay only ate 3. Worth it though. Check out your neighborhood Olive Garden. I hadn't been since homecoming in high school, so glad to be back. After about an hour and a half of split fiction and an episode of Free Run later, I'm back and I'm gonna do more reading of Wild Reverence. I'm officially like 60% of the way through this book and it's so good. Exactly 60% of the way through this book. 318 pages to be exact, and it is amazing. It's truly amazing, as I've said over and over again. The godly element of it is really good, and I'm really curious to see where this like second plot arc is going to take us. It's a pretty long book and a lot has happened. The romantic back and forth between our 2 main characters, I truly cannot emphasize. That's perfect. So anyway, I'm gonna do more reading now before inevitably falling asleep very soon. Time for some coffee, and then Clay and I are going out to go for a nice long walk. Good news, I also am on page 350 of Wild Reverence. Maybe further? I'm up there. Maybe I'm on page like 380. It's so good. Oh, so good.
set up to be having these kids.
I know.
Back home with a smoothie. What a nice morning. Right, I'm in another very cute, delusional fall fit. And to be honest, let me get closer. I've really got to lock in today in regards to my reading. I'm running out of time. Luckily, I'm loving Wild Reverence, but I definitely want to try to finish it, if not get really close to finishing it today, and then be able to at least start the Essex Serpent before I need to go. But I have about like 30 hours. So let's just see what I can get done in 30 hours. But I do believe in myself overall. Let's see what can be done. Let's see what can be accomplished, because I'd like to read another book at my parents'. Wish me luck. Wish me luck, because I'm gonna need it. As long as I just stay focused and not get too distracted by Australian Survivor, which is my obsession at the moment. But that's okay. Hi, before we can lock in and read, I obviously need to make lunch. So we're making some avocado toast. So I'm toasting the toast part, but let's make the avocado mixture together. Let's see if the avocado gods have blessed us today. Not bad. Got a mixture done, and now I'm just waiting for my toasts. Oh, and honestly, they look pretty done. So everything's done. So, for clay, I put on some extra onions, more red pepper flakes. I like to top mine with some feta cheese. Some olive oil. And lunch is done. All right, we're sitting down and we're going to do a very intense reading sprint of Wild Reverence. Again, I have it on my ebook. I feel like I read faster when I read my Kindle, so we're gonna do that. Again, I'm making great progress. Only positive things to say. Pray for my mental well-being because I am a little worried about the emotional impact. But let's read. Let's do a reading update. I'm officially 80% of the way through this book. I'm definitely, I think, tracking to finish it tonight. Then I can also start some of the Essex Serpent before I have to wrap this vlog up. I'm a broken record because this book is so good. And honestly, shout out to Rebecca Ross's plot pacing because I've been on the edge of my seat, drawn in by the different plot movements the whole time. And the great thing about the plot of this book is there's all these like mini moments of intensity, but you also the whole time feel like there is this build up to this eventual significant moment that I haven't fully reached yet, but you've almost been like dreading and anticipating it the whole time. And because like the woven tapestry of fate is like a very big, you know, aspect of this book, you can kind of feel like every scene has this significance and every choice will likely have a callback or a consequence, either literally in that moment or at some point later in the story. And that has happened time and time and time again, which just makes you both like able to enjoy things as they're happening, but also like even in moments of joy of this book, I feel like I'm just like having my eyes covered at the same time because I'm just like waiting for the other shoe to drop. So because of this, I just feel like the plot has been super engaging through and through this book. And it's just really kept me on the edge of my seat. There's really been no lull. It's so good. And then also Vincent, Matilda as our main characters, so incredible. And I just love, 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 love that Rebecca Ross made the decision to start this story in their childhood because by the very nature of their beings, they should be polar opposites of each other. And in some ways they've lived such different existences as mortal and as a god, but they've also had some key elements of their formative years that also make them find such comfort and understanding in each other. Like both of them have been let down by adults in their life that should be looking out for them, but instead did the opposite. And so like they have this like fundamental understanding of each other alongside like all the other feelings that they have that just makes them feel so emotionally connected to me. Like I really buy in on their romance. And then alongside all of that, the world building has also been really great. And because we're following a mortal and a god character and how they intersect, but also kind of their individual storylines, we have a wholly realized like mortal politic storyline as well as a godly politic storyline. We see how Matilda has to move through these different godly realms her entire life, who she can trust, who she cannot trust, the various deals she has to make, the, you know, the political maneuvering she has to try to succeed in, gaining more insight on her power, avoiding others finding out about her own powers, and also just trying to not be taken advantage of in court. Like all of that is a very significant part of this plot. And then to foil that, we also have a mortal politic storyline directly connected with Vincent's character. We have war, we have a blood feud, we have people trying to protect, you know, their home and the people that live there. And also we have mortals and gods meddling on both sides of the equation. And that I also think is really interesting because in some ways like Vincent and Matilda's distinct political experiences sometimes get intertwined with each other, especially as they become more intertwined with each other. But they're also still separate at times, and seeing the overlap is always really, really interesting. And like, I'm very engaged no matter if I'm in the mortal realm or in the godly realm. And I'm stressed sometimes when there's a specific mortal or godly character entering the scene, because there are a lot of people in this book I do not like and I do not trust, but there are some that I also love so much. But yes, I'm rambling 80% of the way through this book. It's just a really well-constructed story. Every element of it, from the writing style, the concept of the book, the plotting, the pacing of the plotting, the romance, the character writing, the influences, like everything is fully landing for me. And like, I really do not say that lightly. And still 80% of the way in, my favorite Rebecca Ross book. I feel like it's gonna take a lot to change my mind on that, but this has been so good. And I will be finishing it, I do believe. But I just read a good 20% just now, feeling very successful. But I've got to do some chores around the house, and then I'm going to wash this hair, make dinner, watch some TV, circle back to my book, start my other book. We're moving and we're grooving. Matilda's from the realm of the underlings, aren't you, Millie? You're an underling creature. Reading break time. I am going to get back to my Lego I've let languish away here for a few weeks now. I'm gonna get a few pages of this done, and then I'm also gonna watch some Australian Survivor, obviously. All right, dinner tonight is a stir fry. I have the rice cooking, and I have this steak. Whoa, fancy. So now it's just time to chop up all the vegetables, which, let's see what we got. I have half a head of broccoli to use. I have mushrooms, some carrots, and an onion, and I think zucchini. This is a cucumber! Tree pickup really failed me. They gave me a cucumber instead of a zucchini.
Lucky me.
Got a cooked steak resting, and now I'm just sauteing up my vegetables. And soon we add sauce, and then we enjoy. So fast, which is why I love stir fry. And dinner is served. Alrighty, the time has come. I've sat down, I'm in bed, and we're finishing Wild Reverence. It's happening. I believe in myself. I've set aside enough time. I'm not gonna fall asleep manifesting. I'm not gonna fall asleep in the middle of reading. I'm not gonna fall asleep in the middle of reading. And then I'm gonna start the Essex Serpent in the morning. We're gonna wrap this puppy up. I'm gonna have read a decent chunk, which is all I could ask of myself. Good morning, everyone. I'm here with my coffee. We're in the final countdown of this vlog. Great news. I finished Wild Reverence last night, and it was perfect. The ending of this book, perfect. Literally no notes. I loved literally every single page of this book. Spectacular. And also the tie-in to the Divine Rival series, also spectacular. Like everything, beautiful. Rebecca Ross, you know what you're doing, because this was perfect. Ramble, incredible. So now, this morning, before I need to go get my life together, I'm gonna start the Essex Serpent. Read like 350 pages, not my best. I'm gonna see if I can get over the 400 page mark with the Essex Serpent before I need to end this vlog. But I'm happy though, because I love Wild Reverence literally so much. Incredible stuff. And also I'm excited to finally be picking up Essex Serpent because Clay bought me this book 4 years ago based off of the like sticker of purchase. It says 9/30/2021. Yikes. We're gonna get to this now. Good morning, folks. We're sitting down and reading the Essex Serpent. This is about a recently widowed woman moving to Essex and getting involved with like a priest there and the mystery of this like giant serpent that lives in the area. I'm hoping it's kind of weird and gothic based on the time period and just kind of an unusual historical read with a bit of like a fantasy mixed in. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna start it now. I'm hoping I like it. I'm hoping it's vibey. Hi friends, let's go ahead and wrap up this vlog because I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. Obviously, I've talked a lot about this book, so let's actually start with this book. I was able to read 60 pages of this and I'm definitely going to carry on. This is a weird little book. And honestly, within those 60 pages, I still don't like fully grasp the narrative direction of the story because it's centering a lot more characters' perspective than I was anticipating. We're kind of bleeding from one character to the next. There's main characters and sometimes we follow them and their thoughts, but also characters around them and how they're viewing them in the world, which is pretty interesting. But the setup of this is that we have our main character, Cora, and her husband dies at the beginning of this book. And you can very quickly tell that this man was not a good man. The relationship and the control that he had over his wife, terrible. Cora herself, though, is kind of unusual. She also seems to be quite academic, particularly as it relates to natural sciences. So it kind of makes sense that she would then go to the countryside with her maid, who is her best friend, and her young son, who is weird, to say the least. Like, her young son is like kind of unnerving, but like I can't tell if it's just because he's like strange or like there's something wrong. And now they're in Essex. There's also this doctor that's like obsessed with her. I don't know. There's a recipe for possibly an eerie, unsettling, gothic horror situation, obsession, haunting. But like it doesn't necessarily need to go in that direction, and it also could just have like a hint because it is very like Victorian era London energy. So it could just be like the vibe of the time. So I don't know how like much it's going to permeate every aspect of the plot, but it has definitely piqued my curiosity, and the writing style is really, really good. It's lyrical, it's dense to kind of match the style of the time, and I very much have to pay attention. And it's very windy, which kind of matches like the cover, this serpent. Like, I don't know, I very much feel like I'm along for the ride with that first 60 pages I read. I need to read more. I will feature this in an upcoming video, fear not. But obviously the main book of this vlog was Wild Reverence. Stunning, beautiful, no notes, 5 out of 5 stars. I've gone on and on about this. Read it. I stand by my statement. I don't think you need to read The Divine Rivals first, but if you want to, you can. But this was like so perfect. I loved this. New Rebecca Ross fave, stunning, obsessed, just truly obsessed. But that is the end of my vlog. Thank you again to this video's sponsor, which is Trade Coffee, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video soon. Goodbye.